Hi, my name is Mariann Gudac, and welcome to my very first podcast. I am sitting in a really big closet that is my space. It has a little bit of everything in here that is a part of me. It has a lot of art supplies because I am an artist. It has a little bit of the Beatles. You can see that poster behind me. There's pictures of friends and family and just a lot of feel good in here. It's a safe space for me. It's a feel good space. I would recommend that everyone find a place, a space to call their own, even if it's a closet. This is where I'll be doing my podcasts because I love it in here. So you're probably wondering why I am even doing a podcast. I am a certified integrative wholeness and wellness life coach with an emphasis in grief and spirituality. And I know there's a lot of life coaches out there. The market is kind of flooded right now. But the reason that I am putting myself out there and doing this is because I feel like I have a lot to offer. I find that the life coaches that I follow and reach out to are life coaches that have actually been through trials themselves and seem to have a reality of what a trial is and how to cope. I'm not going to tell anybody how to cope with a trial. Hopefully with my experiences, it'll just give you some tools to help you to endure well and hopefully thrive. In October of 2020, October 11th, my daughter, my 31-year-old beautiful blonde-haired, blue-eyed daughter, was killed in a horrific pedestrian automobile accident. We were coming back from a custody exchange with her 18-month-old daughter. My husband and I were with her. There was an SUV in front of us that hit a black cow that was out in the road, and it was late at night. It was dark. So he didn't see the cow. That area was always bad for that. And I'll just be real here. The farmer who has those cows in there, for some reason, doesn't feel like it's important to keep his fences tight and how they should be. And so, unfortunately, there has been quite a few accidents right there. But this SUV hit this cow. We were able to swerve around the cow, who was now dead in the road, and we stopped in front of the SUV to help whoever was in this SUV, because we knew he'd hit the cow really hard and was probably hurt. I won't go into like a lot of detail right at this podcast, maybe in a future podcast, but I will just say my daughter jumped out of the car. The man had gotten out of his SUV. I stayed in the car with her baby. My husband was just getting out of the car. He turned and looked back. He saw my daughter with her hand on the man's shoulder. He was slumped over. And right then there was a horrific noise. There was a pickup truck with an enclosed trailer on the back with a race car in it. He was going, he was exceeding the speed limit, and he was on his cell phone. He ignored the emergency flashers that we had going, and he hit the dead cow in the road. It threw the cow feet. He hit it so hard, and then he swerved and hit the back of the SUV, which in turn hit my daughter and the man that we had stopped to help. My daughter's name is Whitney. The man that was with her is named Cody. Cody's body was thrown right to the side of my door, and he was killed immediately. And my daughter was thrown about 50 feet out into the field. My husband was searching frantically in the dark, trying to find her. He asked the man that had hit them to help, and the man did nothing but talk on his cell phone about that he was worried about how damaged his race car was. When my husband did find my daughter, it had thrown her so hard she was completely underneath the dirt. I was hysterical on the phone, calling 911, and the ambulance came. My daughter still had a heartbeat. They got her into the ambulance. She coded twice in the ambulance. They got her to the closest nearby hospital, and she again coded, and she died. I have 2 children, and they were really hard getting. I adore my kids. I have my daughter, and I have a son. They're both my best friends. I miss my daughter. She has left such a hole in our family and in my heart. Now her little girl will be raised without her mother. There's a whole lot of other things that I can go into, but I just wanted you to know a little bit about why I'm here. After about 1.5 years after her death, to be honest, you go through that kind of trauma and grief, and I think for me, there was about 1.5 years that I was surviving. I definitely wasn't living, but I was surviving. My husband and I were traveling to Salt Lake City, and when we travel to Salt Lake, we have to go by the accident site, and it's always emotional when we go by there. And so we were traveling and going by the accident site, and my husband, just out of the blue, said, "Have you ever considered being a life coach?" And it kind of surprised me. But then in a way it didn't. I guess it kind of surprised me coming from him. And anybody that knows Mike, well, they'll know why I say that. But after we got home from that trip, I looked into it because it didn't feel strange to me and it didn't feel foreign. So I found a school. I went to school and got my certification. I really dove into it. There was just so much good learning and things that I was just drinking in. I think the thing that I love the most about life coaching is the ability to learn how to change our thought process. Our brains are created to protect us. That is its main function. Of course, there's all the other things, the learning and everything else that our brains do. But the main function is to protect us. So with that, our brains are geared to this thought process of protection at all times. That's not a bad thing, because if a stranger comes up to us and threatens our life, the first thing our brain does is tell us to run, to get out, right? But on the other side of that, excuse me, when we go through trauma and grief, our brains will actually hold us in that spot because it's a safe spot. It's if we're curled up and we're tight, then nobody can harm us or get us. And it's really uncomfortable when you're going through severe trauma or grief to allow yourself to open up and come out of that safe spot, to be vulnerable. I have trouble with that word. The interesting thing also is I'm not a shy person, but I have been kind of careful before all of this about things that I've put on Facebook, things that I felt kind of private about, I kept private. For instance, when my dad passed away, I didn't get on Facebook and share anything about that because I just felt extremely private about it. But since Whitney's death, I have been very vocal. I have shared everything on Facebook, all my vulnerability. It's kind of I don't know. I don't know quite how to explain it. I think what it is that I need people to know her. I definitely want people to know her if they didn't know her. She was so amazing that I don't want her to ever be forgotten. And I think that's probably like the biggest reason that I have been so vocal. But the other part of it, excuse me, is that I just feel like it's really important that I want people to understand grief. I think we in society, and especially on social media, we feel like that we just have to put on this perfect persona, you know, that everything's wonderful. Our marriages are wonderful. Our relationships with family and friends are wonderful. Our finances are wonderful. Our jobs are wonderful. But I just wanted to be really real. And I think for me, the reason for that is that I want people to know that it's okay. It's okay if you fall apart. It's okay if you are thinking thoughts that make absolutely no sense, you know, that they're just out there and bizarre. I want them to know that it's normal. It's part of the grieving process. And as far as I'm concerned, the grieving process will last until I pass away from this earth. I don't know how else to be. She was so much a part of me that when she died, I lost a part of me. And I can't get that back. I can't get it back. She's gone. Now, you know, my beliefs are that she has just crossed into an eternal life. I guess I don't know how else to put it. That she's still living. That she's very, very real as she was as a human being. But she's now real in a spiritual sense. There are times that I feel her very strongly, and then there are times that I don't. And I wonder, is she busy? Is she helping other people? I don't know. I don't have the answers for all this, but I think with these podcasts, that's kind of, one of the things that I kind of want to discuss and hopefully get your feedback on, because I want to know. I want to know how other people feel and what their experiences are. I think everybody has input and has. I don't believe in coincidences, definitely, and I feel like that every person that comes into your life, they come into your life for a reason. Part of that reason, I mean, some of those reasons can be bad, but also hopefully we learn from them. And, I think the majority of the reasons are good reasons. I know for me, I appreciate every single person that has come into my life. And I'll say that, I'm not going to say it's a bed of roses and that every single person has been fantastic, but I've definitely learned from them. So I think that's fantastic, I guess, in a way. So anyway, that's why I'm here. That's why I'm going to start these podcasts. I'll dive into some life coaching. Definitely want to talk to you about grief. Would love to talk about spirituality. I'm very open to hear what you have to say. So with that being said, so that I don't make this super, super long, I think 20 minutes is plenty long. Please reach out to me. I do have a website. It is Mariann, Mariann, M, Gudac, Gudac, gmail.com. You can email me on my website. I'm kind of new to all this stuff, so hopefully I am going to get better at it, and I'll hopefully be updating my website. That'll hopefully be a little more friendly or user friendly for me anyway. But it is a nice website, and I do have a blog on it, and so I'm blogging almost daily, so you can get on there and read my blogs. You can also get a hold of me on my email. It is m.mgudac, Gudac, @gmail.com. You can get on my Facebook. You can message me. Mariann Gudac is my Facebook. I really want your input. I really want to know what you're thinking. Tell me your stories so that we can talk about it. It gives me substance. It gives me a lot to think about. Anyway, it's really good to meet you. I think we're going to have a lot of fun on here. I'm sure you'll get a lot of laughs out of that I don't know what I'm doing. But the biggest reason is I want to help you. And with that, you can help me. So until the next podcast, I will... I'll be thinking about what my next podcast can be about. So take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.